Hey you. Yeah, you. You didn't stumble here by chance. So let's talk. My name is Tyanne, but a lot of people call me Taj. And I'm most known for my loud New York personality, Brooklyn to be specific, and my unfiltered opinions. And most recently, for being your favorite homegirl. Yeah, because I'm a realtor too. Don't forget that. And the Melanated Mindset is a safe space for unpopular opinions and heated debates amongst the diverse melting pot of those of us that identify as a melanated millennial. Now, I can't speak for y'all, but after seeing what being an adult is really about, nah, I got some things to say. And I know y'all do too. So let's talk about it. Because what's really going on? What is up, y'all? We made it. I'm talking us and y'all. We have made it to the season finale of season 4. I cannot believe it's been 4 seasons.
Yes, sir, it has.
And obviously, if you're an audio listener, you can hear that I am not by myself. So I figured who else to end the season with than my favorite guest and clearly y'all favorite guest because y'all really just absolutely love. I get so much interaction. Like, it be real, giving real conversation anytime I have you on here. So clearly y'all love him. So I figured why not end the season there. And I'm keep it all the way honest with y'all. I did not intend to end the season so soon. I kind of thought I would get like 12 or 14 episodes. But last week's episode is the reason that we ended the season today, because if you haven't listened to or watched season 4 episode 9, let that shit go, then you definitely need to, because I came to some real realizations regarding like my what I feel is my life's purpose, as well as what I'm doing here with the brand, the Melanated Mindset as a whole. I had a couple episodes like in the bag, but now y'all are getting these in real time. And by real time, I mean y'all gonna hear this tomorrow. It's Sunday afternoon, and I feel like I've never cut it this close before. But yeah. So now that I don't have too much of a head start, it's time to go ahead and close out this season so that I could listen to the things that I feel like God is truly trying to tell me in the direction He really want me to go with the business and the brand. In order to do that, I need to not be actively recording because I'm still low key trying to process that episode because there was a lot, but it has become clear as day that the melanated mindset is my life's work in a way. And
I mean, you said that for a long time now.
I feel like I have, but like to come to the real, it was like an outer body experience where like the light bulb, like the switch went off. Like I really feel like I had a That's So Raven type of moment, and it was a lot to process. Like it really felt like I can't explain it. You have to watch the episode. Not just listen, but watch it if you haven't, to really see when it happened. Because it was just like, wow, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is what I've always wanted to pour my energy and my resources into. But it felt like getting that reassuring push, like, okay, I'm giving you the green light, like go full throttle with this. And I've always wanted this to be my baby. I always wanted the Melanated Mindset to be at the core of my entire personal brand. I wanted it to be a place where like even above the podcast, I just wanted the brand for someone to sit down and really grasp what it is. By the time that they were done, they would get a sense of who I am as a person and the things that I stand for and the things that I believe. I wanted the Melanated Mindset to be where I could house all of that, like the innermost parts of myself, and be like, okay, let me give it to the world. This is who I am. This is what I am. These are my core values. I wanted the Melanated Mindset to be that. And I feel like I've been doing that along these 4 seasons, but now I feel like, okay, like I have so, you of all people know, I have so many ideas for this that like I can't even go down all the avenues at once, but taking a break from a season will give me time to, okay, figure out where I want to go next, one step at a time, just making it to the next day like we talked about last week. And this break between seasons will definitely do that. I don't plan to take as long as a break as I did last time, but we don't know. I got some things that I'm really trying to work on.
It's barely gonna be a break, y'all. She not gonna stop. She's so passionate about this. It's not gonna be a long break. So
it's not.
Don't even trip about that.
I just want to come in with a bang. I feel like this season I came in with a bang, and I've been riding that wave. I haven't missed the episode. Like, everything's been on track. We rode smooth. So now I'm ready to take it to another level and like let's cruise out season 5 like that. Because by the time we come back, it would have been literally the podcast 3-year anniversary. Like, that is insane to say. Like,
that is very insane. And it started in a closet.
It's literally a closet in Italy in the middle of a pandemic. Like, and now we have like a whole set pretty much. And literally right before we turned the camera on, I was going over the ways that we're going to switch up the set a little bit for next season. So it's so crazy to just see it come to life and to have these visions and watch it come to play.
Y'all actually gonna have me doing more DIYs.
Right. So although the podcast season is ending, you gotta be subscribed on YouTube and be officially a part of the tribe so you could catch what's going on in between time in the meantime. Okay? The fact that I've spent the last 3 years trying to figure out what my life purpose would be, like coming out of that pandemic, moving to the States, buying a house, like where I fit in and where I contributed and kind of helped in that way to get our lives to where I want it to be. And I've literally spent the last 3 years trying to like just hustle and figure that out along the way. And to find myself smack in the middle of it, like, while recording was I can't even begin to explain what that felt like. Just know it was very, very, very relieving, but also like, damn girl, I've been running myself ragged and I've really already been doing what I need to be doing. I just need to shift my focus to instead of trying to figure out the what I need to be doing, the why, like just focus on how you're gonna do it. And then once I do that, the rest it'll come. But I definitely need to decompress that with my therapist for sure. Speaking of therapy, I've been telling y'all all season that I was going to come and do a dedicated episode to my journey and kind of some of the things that I've learned along the way. And what better way to end the season than with some therapy gems? Like, come on. That's just, it wouldn't be me if I didn't do that. And if you've been part of the tribe for a while, you would know that I'm not the only person in our house that actually goes to therapy. Malik does too. Yep. And he also started his therapy journey before I did. He actually kind of gave me the push to go ahead and do that. And I'm like, well, since y'all love him so much, and I've been promising y'all a therapy episode, why not do it with him? It's get real kind of intimate and personal with y'all as we close out this season, just so y'all have been here from the very beginning. So y'all get to see the evolution of us and our relationship kind of in real time and kind of learn the things that we've been learning along the way over this 10 years. Y'all, we will be married for 10 years.
It sounds crazy when you say it out loud.
Like, I feel like I know it. We've been married for a decade come the end of this year.
You've been dealing with me for 10 years?
Yeah. I mean, but you've been dealing with me for 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, if you're new here, if you're new here and you obviously couldn't be able to tell this is my husband, but besides that, if you want to kind of just know a little bit more about our backstory, kind of our love story, how we met, all that good stuff, refer back to season 1, episode 5, a real New York love story. Because if you couldn't tell from the intro and from the quote unquote accents everybody said we're from New York. You heard? Y'all know I've been kind of like starting every episode with a definition. So I decided to start this one with the definition of therapy. And therapy is described. I was actually very shocked by the textbook definition of therapy, but it's described as treatment intended to relieve or heal a disorder.
A disorder?
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know, that didn't really sit too right with me.
That last word jumped out to me.
But I was shocked that was the actual definition. So, Tribe, I'm going to ask you, what did y'all think the definition of therapy was? Because I definitely did not think that was it. Like, they had me until the disorder, and I was like, oh, Wait a minute. But we're going to get into that in just a second. Y'all know me though. Never gonna miss an opportunity for a shameless plug. So, since this is the last episode, if you want to keep up with me kind of behind the scenes in real time, I promise I'm gonna do a better job now that I don't have to record of staying active on my socials. So, make sure that you follow me, quote unquote, in real time so you can kind of just keep up with me and see what DIYs I got him doing next because, yeah, there's a list. But we're going to get them done.
Dang, a list?
It's a short list, but it is a list. Anyway, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Tyanne.Watson. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube at Tyanne Watson with no dot in between. One more time for the one time. Complaints and highlights of the week. I feel like you probably haven't thought of yours yet, so I'm going to go first. My complaint of the week is the fact that it feels like God has literally been yelling at me. If you know, you know. There's so much backstory to last week's episode, and I hate to keep bringing it up, but it was a very pivotal moment in my life for real, like in real life. And ever since then, I have questioned so much. And ever since then, aka literally last week, it feels like God is just like, boop, boop, like it just hit me upside my head. Like, girl, why you not listening? Like, I asked for.
So you're making a complaint to God?
No, I'm. Okay, I just don't. All right. So my real complaint, I guess, within that. And you know how they be like, be careful what you wish for because you just might get it? So I've been asking for very clear and concise signs that I am on the right track and that I just need to keep going. And I feel like last week's episode, in the middle of recording that, was when that happened. But now I'm like, it feels like God has given me IKEA instructions. And what I mean by that is it feels like I now know what I'm supposed to be doing. And like where to put my energy and like where my life I'm supposed to contribute to this world. But I didn't get no how. So it feels like IKEA instructions where they just give you pictures and no words. He gave me the picture, which was the That's So Raven vision, like literally sitting right here. But there's no words explaining the gray areas. And I got mad questions that I didn't think I would have because how I'm supposed to do that? Like how you, okay, I see what you want me to do, but you ain't tell me how to do it. And I don't know how to do it.
He just gave you the end goal without the steps to get there.
So that is my complaints of the week. And during the off season, I plan to kind of just try my best to figure out the how to get there, but to bring y'all along the journey somehow, some way, whatever that is going to look like. But on the other note, my highlight.
He just sold you a dream.
Child, I hope not. I hope not.
A goal without a plan.
That's what it's given. And like, I don't want to be ungrateful because, you know, some people just, I feel like they never figure out their life purpose. But it's like, now that I know, I still don't know how to accomplish it. I just know what I'm supposed to do.
I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. So like, I'm very grateful that I feel like that. And I have to take a quick second to shout out to Indesha. So she is like, I met her in Hawaii and she has always been like the biggest supporter of me ever. And she left a comment on that episode on YouTube that literally was saying like, she could just feel my energy coming through the screen and like, girl, like this is what you're supposed to be doing. Like, just the fact that it makes you so happy makes me so happy for you. And I was just like, and she like, to get a compliment about my energy was like, I told her, was like, she really made my day. Cause like, somebody could always compliment how you look and like the things that you do for them. But someone that I haven't like actually done anything for besides just be myself and tell my story. And somehow that has helped her in whatever way it has, like, to be complimented that y'all can feel that, because I feel like that's my goal. Like, I don't want to sit up here and feel like I'm talking at y'all. I want to feel like I'm talking with y'all, and I want y'all to feel me when I say certain things and when I experience certain things. Like, I want that emotion to portray through the camera and through the mic, and to know that it does just made me feel so good. So shout out to you, because you really made my day, girl. For real. But my highlights of the week is going to be, I get to put words to these picture instructions now that the podcast has wrapped for this season. And on top of that, cherry on top, by the time I come back, both the boys' birthdays will have passed. So Malik's birthday is in literally like 2.5 weeks, 2 weeks. And then Xavier's birthday is a month after that. So by the time I come back, the boys will have done a whole trip around the sun. I'm excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited. I am. I feel like turning 30.
I'm surprised he told y'all how old he turning. Cause child, he dreading it, and y'all need to tell him that he needs to embrace it. Like, I want to just skip
turning
to
30. I'm feeling it. All right.
But what do the old people that look good always say? You're only as old as you feel. Stop acting like you turning 50. You got this. You still young. You still a little spring chicken.
Oh, I'm still young. I still got it. I'm just saying, like, to say, oh, I'm 30 out loud. Like, I feel like when I was young, I was like, 30, that's an old head.
Here we are.
For real. And now I'm 30. But it's cool. You know, I'm going into my well, I got to say my complaint first, huh?
Well, you don't have to. It's up to you, whatever.
I feel like my highlight of the week is, I don't know, just being a dad. Lately, like, I've been feeling real, like, emotional about it.
About turning 30 or about being a dad?
Being a dad, like, just being with Xavier all day. Well, not all day because I've been working, but just having moments with Xavier, just like earlier, just dancing with him, listening to music.
I think that's
going
another
outside with
highlight
him,
for me. Is
playing with him. It just kind of hits. It just kind of hits you once you sit back and just enjoy the moment. It's like, wow, I'm really a dad out here in these streets.
Like, some days I do have to, like, some days I get caught up in the actual parenting part and the stressors of it all, because it is stressful as hell. But
yeah,
then
definitely it tests your patience. Crazy. What
do I be telling y'all?
Oh man.
And like, y'all, he has us for parents. If you know us, you know he is literally just him and me infused in a person.
Literally.
And mind you, he's with us all day, y'all. He's not around kids. So y'all know about them kids that never really around kids. They already start maturing and picking up on adult things. We keep it pretty PG around here, but he done picked up on the sarcasm. He knows sarcasm in English, Spanish, and sign language, y'all. And I'm not kidding. Like, keep in here ready to go toe to toe with us. Like,
but then at the same time, is the most respectful, most polite, cutest little human being ever.
Right. And then sometimes I just have to really sit in the gratitude. Like, yo, there were days that I really never thought that we would be parents for real. Yeah. And if you don't know our story, again, like, go back to season 1. But to sum it all up, we struggled for 2 years to get pregnant, and then I just miraculously popped up pregnant one day.
To be honest, like, I don't want to say we gave up, but we just stopped thinking about it. Honestly, we
detached ourselves from the outcome. Either it was gonna happen for us or it wasn't. But we were gonna enjoy our lives regardless. Exactly. And we was enjoying our life. Okay, we was diddy bopping through Europe.
What's meant for you is meant for you.
Always.
And that goes for a lot of things, like people, jobs, material things, moments. If it's not meant for you, it won't happen. If it's meant for you, it'll happen. It just takes time, and that's literally what it took for us. It took time.
I feel like we had to go through that to really appreciate our parenthood journey, and it made it that much easier. I'm using easier as in air quotes if you're listening, to not fall in the trap of the type of parents that we had. Not saying that our parents weren't good parents, but to be better. I feel like the goal is always to be better than your parents were. So going through what we had to go through to get him here, it was like from the jump, we started out with so much gratitude, and just like, we knew parenthood would be hard, but we've already been fighting this long and this hard. Like, okay, like, we in this. And I feel like even on the days where, like, I just want to yoke them up, I find myself literally, like, I can't imagine my life without you. So we gotta.
Facts. You know what's crazy?
Figure it out.
You know what's crazy? I just thought about this. Remember someone told us that we wasn't ready, and we like took offense to it. Like, what do you mean?
I feel like I've mentioned that before on the pod, but we definitely gonna have to dive into that next season. I just need a specific topic to. That was a low blow. Like when you actively trying, and to have someone voice their opinion on something so intimate and private that you chose to share, and then their opinion not necessarily be negative, but like it wasn't positive. It just didn't feel like it came from a good place. It felt like it came from a very religious place. And y'all clearly know our stance on that now in life. So at the time, it just rubbed me so the wrong way. And I just kind of let it rub off my shoulders, but I was definitely hurt on the inside. Like,
yeah. I took a little bit of offense to it too. I think because I think it was coming from a really religious, um, like it came from a religious place. But I think we looked at it in a negative aspect. You know, now thinking about it, it was like that person probably was right.
Yeah, I love the fact that we get to say that we enjoyed each other. A lot of relationships don't survive the kid, and I could see how now, had we not been as locked in as we have been, like we got just us two for 7 years of marriage, like enough to go through I can't imagine going through those first years of marriage and the first couple years of parenting. Those stages of life are equally traumatic, if you ask me. Like, there's a lot that changes. So have those two major life events been on top of one another, maybe we would have not been able to withstand the heat. But the fact that we got to work on ourselves and our relationship and make that as solid of a foundation as possible, then add a kid to that, that is something that I'll always be grateful for. Like, we know he was intentionally made. He was a surprise, but he wasn't an accident.
The timing was a surprise.
Yeah, very much so, because I had just come back from Amsterdam for the second time. Yeah, we was really diddy bopping through them Europe streets, having a blast. Like, literally, those 3 years living in Italy was
we was just talking about how we miss Europe.
Yeah, like, it was the best years of my life. Literally, I'm so glad I got to experience that in the height of my 20s with no kid. Like, now I just want to go back and do it with the kid. Like, let me show you how much fun mommy and daddy used to have. Like, it's crazy. I don't think you ever gave your complaint. That was your highlight. Child, y'all, I got 24 hours to edit this episode. Look how long it's about to be already. But the conversation is just flowing. But go ahead.
So my complaint would be, so lately what's been going around with like the Michael B. Jordan and the what's his name, Majors.
I don't know that man's name, but I know you're talking about.
I think something Major something. I forgot his name. But the actor from Lovecraft Country and who's playing the antagonist in Creed 3, Country Dude, whatever. You know, it's been going around the internet that they're like, because they seem so close that people are questioning. Oh, it gotta be a sexual relationship, or it gotta be like a Hollywood trying to dehumanize a black man's image or whatever. And I'm like, why gotta be all of that? You know what I mean? Why can't they just be really good friends? They both are really great actors, both coming up. Michael B. Jordan just directed a movie that he brought another black brother on. Like, why you gotta point out the negativity of their relationship? He was already
on his way, but if y'all don't know, I really wish I knew his name. I'm so sorry. But if y'all don't know his story, he was literally just homeless, like living in his car in hotels with his kid. His life has changed drastically quickly, and Michael can probably relate to that. Like, he had a slow climb to success, but I feel like if you listen to him on the R&B podcast, like, Michael was struggling too. So when your life changed overnight like that, you really have compassion for the people that got you there.
When you're already blown up, you feel like that person didn't struggle to get to their position. You're like, oh, that person, you know, he just, like, it just came out of nowhere, which it The dude Majors, he he had a kid, his daughter. He was basically homeless, just living in a hotel.
And I don't think people give people credit. Like, chasing your dreams already is so hard mentally, financially, physically. But to try to do that while you're taking care of another human being, ladies, if you don't have no kids and you have goals and dreams in life, this is your reminder to do that shit. Just start trying. Because as someone that is just now following her dreams while still a pretty new mom, it is a lot harder. Like, kids just make things that are already hard harder. Not impossible, but harder. So for him to be getting
And
active
yeah,
mode,
it's a motivator for sure, but that doesn't mean
it's an obstacle for real, for real. Not a hindrance, but an obstacle. You gotta maneuver differently when you have a little person that you gotta feed and clothe, and they need clothes every time the season changes. Like, you gotta hustle a lot different. So kudos to him for even being able to still have the courage. Because it's easy to be like, I'm gonna give up on myself and just go do something that makes me money to put food on the table.
So to get back to the root of what my complaint is not even specifically for women, but just in general. Like, don't downplay like men's relationship with each other, because it's part of the reason why men don't talk to each other now.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
so on par with the topic for today's episode.
yeah, like
Men need an
I
outlet. They
think
deserve to be able to be friends with their friends. Like, girls
yeah,
be doing all type of stuff.
they'd be like, oh, why are you hanging out with your boys, or why are you always checking on this dude or talking to this dude? You should be talking to me, or you should be doing that with me. Like, yes, you should be able to confide in your woman for sure, but at the same time, it's just like having that same sex conversation is just different. And it could still be like mentally pleasing for that person to talk to that person, because you feel like that same sex will have gone what you've been through, and they know exactly where you come from, because they most likely go through the same things.
They can relate to a base level profile of your life. Being right. A black man, right? Another black man can relate way better than I can. I never understood the women that really are just like, oh, like, you can't spend too much time with your friends. I'd be like, babe, did you check on so and so today? Yeah, like, I'd be encouraging that. Like, why do you want your man to only confide in you? But because then when y'all have problems, where does he go? And then when the relationship is bubbling and cracking because he doesn't have no outlet, but you got you and your girls and your group chat, you go out with your friends, but he can't go out with his friends. Like, relationships need room to breathe. How is it gonna grow if you stifle it? Like, exactly, because then it's like putting a plant in a box.
That man is only comfortable talking about his emotional feelings with a woman. So if he's not talking it with his woman, probably gonna talk about it with another woman, when he could have had his boy or his brother actually come and confide in him and open up and give advice and everything like that. But instead, you downplaying that relationship because it's another dude, if that makes sense.
All right, so y'all know the vibes. We are at our Fendi fact of the day, because I got one this week, y'all. Back to regular scheduled programming. This week's Fendi fact is an excerpt from Revolt. Shout out to Diddy. And it's an article written by Bianca Alice. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know the last name. But the article is titled Fact Check. What percentage of black people go to therapy? And as always... very. As always, if you guys are ever curious to kind of read up on these stats yourself, I always link it in the description box of the YouTube video. So if you're an audio listener, you know where to find it. And it says, claim, what percentage of black people go to therapy? And the findings state, stats tell us that roughly 25% of black Americans seek mental health care, compared to 40% of their white counterparts, per our Harvard Medical School affiliate, McLean. That is the one who conducted the study. She says, we must understand where it comes from and why it is so ingrained in our culture. From hysterical misconceptions, we learn to ignore mental illness or to call it other things like stress or being tired. Additionally, mentioned in another study, it says that she estimates about 25% of Black Americans seek mental health care, registering that the root of mental health stigma amongst Black people can be traced all the way back to slavery. At that time, it was commonly thought that enslaved people were not sophisticated enough to develop depression, anxiety, or other mental health disorders. End quote. Survival tactics can be passed down generationally to aid persons in getting from one point to the next. Still, these lessons teach the collective to do just that: survive, but never really live. That was my own little spin on it. But before we jump into the flow, y'all know I got a call to action. If you are not subscribed on the YouTube channel, come on. You want to make your tribe membership official and it's free. So go ahead and pull up on me on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure that you give this video a big thumbs up because we made it 10 episodes. That's 10 weeks. We haven't missed a single week. We've been giving y'all that good, authentic, and evolving content, which is really what I love. This season was so personal for me, but it just flowed so natural. It was the season that gave me the least amount of stress, even though it started with a lot of stress. But we've been cruising throughout this season. Literally, like everything is happening the way that it's supposed to happen. Yeah, so pull up, right? Because we would love to have you, especially if you've only been listening on audio. All right, we have officially got to the meat and potatoes of the flow. I promise we're gonna try not to keep y'all here too long, but I just got some questions I want to run through with you. Y'all, he gonna ask me before we press record, what's this episode about? Y'all know I don't be telling people. I give them the gist, but I like the conversation to flow naturally. I told him that we was gonna be talking about our therapy journeys, and he forgot until literally right before we press record. So my first question would be, how would you have defined therapy before you heard the official definition?
I probably would have defined it as you just trying to answer questions that you can't figure out on your own. Mostly because I think at least that's what I see therapy as. Like, just like, why does this situation, or why do I feel so emotionally invested in this person, or why do I feel like this person treated me like this? Why do I think this person doesn't love me? Why do I think this person is angry with me? Things like that. Like, I'm trying to answer questions that I feel like I can't answer.
Okay, I think I would say that my definition before I knew what it officially was would be a place that you go to seek professional help to understand your feelings. So, like for example, my therapist gave me like an emotions chart, and for some reason up until I had that chart, like I knew but I forgot that there were more emotions than just happy, sad, mad. Like she gave me an actual wheel that has those as like the core feelings, but then there's like other layers around it. If you guys have the chance, I highly recommend everybody to Google an emotion chart or emotion wheel. And there would be times where like I would be like frustrated or irritated one day, but I never really knew why. Like I wasn't mad, I wasn't sad, but there was like something. So now having this wheel, I can find the exact emotion that I resonate with the most at that moment and pinpoint what it goes to, which is the core ones like happy, mad, sad, etc. And knowing what you're feeling is the first step to, I feel, understanding why you feel the way you feel. You got to know what you're feeling first. So I felt like therapy was a place that you go to get resources to do that. So like I went to a professional who gave me an emotion wheel that is now a tool that I can always refer back to whenever I can't quite understand how I'm feeling.
But apparently it's to fix a disorder.
Child, I ain't like that. So what shifted for you to even want to seek out a therapist?
I felt like I wasn't in control of my emotions. Like they was just kind of doing their own thing, and I didn't know why. Like I felt this way, and then at the end of it, I'm like, why do I feel like that? Like what's the issue? What's the disorder? You know? So I just made the choice to just go and try and figure it out.
Did you feel pressure from me? Because most people assume that when men go seek professional help, that it's at the hands of a woman. Like a woman told you, you need to go fix something or you need to do something. Did you feel pressured from me? Not to, that's not, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I didn't feel
Right,
any
don't
pressure.
even, don't.
No, I didn't feel any
Y'all
pressure.
need to-
But I think a motivator was Xavier. Like I felt like if I can't go and figure out my emotions, how am I going to be empathetic or give him some advice on how to deal with his?
I can see that 100% because now I see what they really mean by terrible twos is that your child has discovered emotions. So like they may feel mad in a certain moment, but they don't really understand.
Feel mad. He tells us
Yeah,
like
okay.
Dada, I'm mad.
That's a thing. So I see what you mean because now we're able to help him identify his emotions and kind of coach him through, okay, well, what do you need in this moment to not feel like this? So the tools is terrible because they understand emotions, and if they're starting to speak like Xavier is, then they're expressing their emotions. They telling you flat out, I'm mad. And you in the middle of driving on the highway doing 70, and now you got to figure out why the toddler's mad in the back. Like it just be, their emotions be real sporadic and inconvenient at times because now they sad in the middle of a grocery store and you just trying to get your groceries and get out. So you got to go through a whole lesson and find out why they sad, help them not be sad, get your groceries, get out. Meanwhile, you in the middle of the bread aisle. So that's what the terrible twos is giving. So I definitely can agree that I'm glad
That must have happened recently.
overstimulated is not the word. Oh, I think it's also important to note that you didn't get a lot of say in your therapy journey because of the Army. So it's a little bit different than if a civilian was just going and going out and shopping for therapists. You kind of just had to take whoever. So I think that's important to note too, that I'm proud of you for sticking through it because you didn't get a say. Even though I feel like I didn't get much of a say, I had more say than you did. So just sticking with it, even if it's not necessarily the person you wanted to talk to, because we all have our preferences with therapists. I think that's an important factor is you want someone that makes you feel comfortable. So that's why they want you to shop around for therapists. So not having that option, but still sticking with it, I definitely think is very commendable. My next question would be, how has therapy positively impacted you during such a transitional time in your life? So you about to turn 30, like you've had some mental shifts and kind of where you want your life to go and what you want it to look like. So how do you think therapy has positively impacted that while you have all these spiritual shifts going on?
I think it just I I feel like it's just like lit a lift off my shoulders. So like I'm not saying it exactly like gave me a direct answer of okay, this is why you feeling like that, but it it helped me gain a better understanding and look at situations in the past from a different outlook. And so looking at it from that different perspective, it just it just let me resonate with the situation and just let me like, okay, well, that's why I felt this way, and maybe that person felt this type of way. That's why they reacted to this, and that's okay. I could let that go.
So you feel like you walking into this new era of yourself in this new decade of your life.
Yeah, I think it's called shadow work, right?
Ooh, check
Right?
you out.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I love this.
it just makes you do that little bit of shadow work, and you're just able to just let it go, and it's just like, all right, well, I'm looking towards the future and not letting the past be a shadow casted over you. So the shadow just gets smaller and smaller.
I not yet. I have to say, healing looks very good on you. You have never looked better. I love to hear that. I love that for you. I love that for me, cause like I just love that for me. Like, I get to experience it's like I'm still in love with you, but I just get to fall in love with a different version of you and just kind of watch you transform into the man that I know over these last 10 years you always wanted to be, but to see you actually do that is different, and I'm very proud of you. With that being said, though, do you wish you had started therapy sooner?
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hell yeah.
I
What?
can definitely
Yeah.
agree. I feel like our conversations are like we've had deep conversation over the past 10 years, but our conversations are a lot more intentional since we've both been in therapy. So I definitely feel like I wish that I started sooner and you started sooner so that we could reach this level of communication. I feel like we've been striving to get to this place as far as our communication and our relationship for years, and we always used to miss the mark, and I feel like we haven't missed the mark in a very long time.
Mm.
So I feel like it definitely gave us the tools we needed to better communicate with one another, to stay on the same page, to make sure that that relationship we built, that ground level, stays as strong as possible as we continue to build on top of it, adding AV, adding properties. Like as our life begins to grow and our empire begins to grow, we know that therapy has given us the tools to make sure the foundation stays solid. So
Yep.
I definitely wish we had both started sooner.
Yep. And we just been building upon it. So
Honestly, brick by brick, brick
layer
on
by
brick,
layer.
brick on brick on brick. So, do you discuss your sessions with your friends, or kind of like what you and your therapist talk about in general?
Nah, I haven't. Besides with you.
Why or why not?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't discussed things in therapy with anyone besides you. Mm-hmm.
And I also don't go like digging and asking like, oh, well, what did you talk about in therapy? I kind of like, if you want to tell me, you tell me.
Mm-hmm.
I give you the space because therapy is very personal, and we don't go
Mm-hmm.
to the same therapist. We don't go to therapy together. We actually haven't even done a couple sessions just yet. We've just been focusing on our individual healing journeys,
Whoever gonna be the person to do that couple session, huh?
and we gotta go to my therapist for that.
You think so?
I think so. Only because she used to be in the military. And
Okay, so yeah.
and then she got
Yeah.
out, and then she understood the wife aspect. So I think she
Mm.
can relate to both of us in that sense, in being a soldier and then being a wife. So I think that's a base level that puts her in the middle. But I don't know if you think your therapist would be better. We could flip a coin.
Nah. Not for no.
That's because you be what you be in there telling her that you don't want me. You
No,
don't
I
want to
don't be
be.
in here telling her nothing about
Mm-hmm.
you. I'm just saying I don't think she
Mm-hmm.
would be a good candidate for us.
And at least at my therapist, it smells really good in there.
Yeah,
And
you
the
got a
view.
whole scene. My shit is like
It's an office.
almost like a jail cell. Not a
Damn,
jail
for
cell, but
real.
like it
Oh
just looks
no.
like it's not really a vibe. I just go in there and tell her whatever's on my mind.
Oh my goodness, I forgot. I
Sometimes
gave my
sometimes I
therapist the
see I
podcast.
kind of overwhelm her because it's a little white lady. Well, she ain't little, but
Oh,
it's a nice white lady. So
my therapist is a black lady, y'all. And
yeah,
I wonder if she's gonna
yeah.
listen to this. I
I just tell her.
And she asked me, "Is it okay if she listens to the podcast?" And I told her, "Yeah." So, dang. Oh yeah, we got to pick my therapist because she know a little bit. She know what they know, and then
Well,
she know what I know. So then all she missing is your side,
yeah.
and she'll be able to. Oh damn, that'd be dangerous. Damn.
So now we gotta look to see if she even does that.
Yeah, I talked with her. She said she'd be willing to.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we will report back season 5. That'll be season 5 thing. Our first couple session and how that goes after being married for
Oh
10
damn!
years.
Now she put a timeline on it.
I'm just saying, like might as well. But next question would be, how do you think our relationship has benefited from both of us being in therapy? Like how?
Benefit tremendously because I think it just kept elevating our communication. Because now
Agreed.
that we understand ourselves, we could come back and understand each other better.
Agreed. Because therapy has taught me when to kind of reel myself back. Like, hold up, wait a minute. you might be tripping right now. Let me go
Mm-hmm.
through, make sure, is it me? Or, yeah. Because if it's me,
Exactly.
like, hold up, let me fix myself and come back. And that's when you'll see me come back and be like, babe, if that sounded sarcastic, like, I didn't mean for that to sound like that. Like, I'll kind of double back when I realize, like, oh, it might be me right now. Hold up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound like that. This
Right.
is really what I meant.
And I think a lot of times it's like, we understand feelings more now. So like, if someone else is feeling aggravated or something, like we wait until we feel like that has gone through, and then we re-engage.
Agreed. We kind of do give each other space to
Instead of,
feel our feels
yeah, instead of
without
just
taking it personal. I think
exactly.
that's a key thing that we've definitely learned because before I used to, like yesterday, I could tell that something was wrong.
Hmm.
And I'm like, before I would have immediately like felt some type of way, like, okay, well, why don't you? I'm your wife. Why don't you want to tell me what's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
but knowing what I know now and knowing what I know about how you kind of process your feels, I knew not to really poke at it because I'm like, no, something is for him to be walking around like this, something's not right.
Yeah. And I
So
think I
that's why
think
I
my
approached it a
immediate
lot more gentler.
yeah, I think my immediate reactions would be like, why does she keep asking me questions? Just drop it. Like I'm dropping it, you just need to drop it. But instead it's like I need to just say what's on my mind and let it go.
And I think we did a
Just let
really
it
good
out.
job of like nipping that full circle. Yeah, because
Hmm.
now that you said how you would have reacted, that's exactly how us 9 years ago would have reacted to something that was that small and that
Yeah.
it would have to you seemed like I was turning a situation that was about you and your feelings into something that was about me. And that, although that would not have been my intention, I could definitely see how it would have been taken that way versus how we handled it and how we were able to just kind of, you was able to tell me what was wrong, which I greatly appreciate.
Hmm.
I love when you do that.
Yeah.
So keep doing that. But
And
yes.
before I just would have kept it in, like, yeah, I dropped it. So you shouldn't be
And
trying to
then
get it
I
out of
would have
me
been
when
up
I've
all night with
already
an
dropped
attitude
that
because you got an
topic.
attitude that I got an attitude because you won't tell me what's wrong and I'm just trying to be your wife and figure out what's wrong so I can
Yeah.
make you feel better. Yeah. Damn. Wow, we have come a long way. We have come a very long way. Love that for us. Uh,
What's next?
why do you think, for many people, there's shame associated with wanting or needing help from a therapist?
I think simply because it is looked upon as being in a weak moment.
And that's the thing. Knowing what I know now, I think people see it as like, people see it, like you said, as a weakness when in fact it's a resource. Like, it's a secret weapon. It's not,
It's a tool.
yeah, that it only can help. Now, is it gonna feel like help every single session? No. Some days you're gonna leave out of there feeling kind of worse, or maybe just not better than when you walked in there. But you'll be asking yourself the questions you need to be asking yourself that you probably weren't before you went in there. So it's something that can only help you. And I feel like people feel shame because they feel like something is wrong with me.
Yeah, either something is wrong with you, or it's like, wow, you're so pathetic that you can't figure out your feelings as a grown person.
But there may be something wrong with you. Do you see the world we're living in? There's something wrong with all of it. If there's not something wrong with you, now I'm concerned because we are living on our second recession post pandemic. Like, if you are operating at your peak, I'm jealous. Number one, and number two, are you okay? Because the rest of us are not, and it's okay to not be okay. Is there anything specific that you hope to get from therapy? Because I can't speak for your therapist, but mine asked me what was my goal with therapy.
I'm not saying I've met my goal because you can always improve on it, but my goal was just to understand my feelings from the inside out and just gain control over my emotions
That's so crazy
and
because
just to like not be so like stressful about or stressed out about things that um aren't that valuable in my eyes. You know what I mean? So I just want to I would just want to be able to sit back. I just want to be happy, pretty much. You know what I mean? Just be content with my life, and just to know that um, I'm doing what I can to be who I want to be.
That's a really good purpose. I think it's crazy because my purpose for going is to relinquish control or the need to want to control the way that my life goes. So my goal is to just learn to just let things be and to just learn how to go with the flow and not let everything affect me so drastically. So if I had to say what would be my why, that would be my why as far as therapy, and to just kind of learn to live in the moment and to know that things are gonna happen the way they're meant to happen, and that has nothing to do with me. All I can control is me. That's it. What is has been your biggest therapy takeaway so far?
My biggest therapy takeaway.
Give us a therapy gem, jewel that echoes in your head. Talk to me.
What do you mean, like something specifically from therapy?
Or something that you learned from therapy, a good lesson.
I think what I learned from therapy. I mean, I'm pretty sure I always knew this, but know on what I didn't know this on what scale.
Mm-hmm.
But I think imperfection is perfect. So to me, that just means like nothing is perfect, and because nothing is perfect, that makes it that makes it perfect, because that's how things are supposed to be. Nothing is perfect. Relationships, people, even animals, this world, everything. Like nothing is just full circle perfection, no flaws. Everything has some type of flaw. And so you can't be stressed out about trying to be perfect or having that perfect life or a perfect spouse or anything. You just have to be able to and be willing to understand it. Period.
Period. I think my biggest therapy takeaway would definitely be that healing hurts way more than it feels good. So, in order to truly heal yourself from the things that affect you the most, you have to dig back deep and put yourself back in that moment. And sometimes reliving those moments is not always the most pleasant, but you have to relive them through a different lens and to take a step out of how you felt and what was said and understand why did what was said make me feel the way I felt, or why was what was done, why did I feel like that? And like it has just allowed me to take everything and as regarding myself and my feelings and dissect it, because emotions stem from somewhere. So if I want to understand my emotions, I have to understand where they're coming from. Am I feeling the way I feel out of hurt, out of rage? Those type of things affect how I'm feeling. They're almost like a filter. So like, do I really feel like this, or am I really deep down feeling something else for something else that is now causing me to feel like this about this? Like, am I mad at Xavier in this moment for spilling something on the floor, or am I still sad about a conversation that we had earlier that has now forced me to have less patience? Therefore, now I'm mad about something small. Yeah. It allows me to break my emotions down into
And
levels.
be in control of them.
Right. So I think that my biggest therapy takeaway is that healing is going to hurt. It's you're going to have to put that mirror up to yourself, because you can't just heal the things that people have done to you. You have to heal the things that you have done to yourself and understand the role that you play in your current situation and circumstances, because it's not always everybody's fault. We play a role in our own lives. So understanding yourself at your core and the parts of you that are not so pretty, the parts of you that you try to avoid and pretty much try to sweep under the rug, understanding why that is the way it is and where it stems from, so that you can not be that ugly person deep inside.
That's tough.
Like,
Not just healing the things that people have done to you, but healing the things you've done to yourself. That was tough.
I think another thing that I've kind of learned from therapy, I've been sitting on these gems for a while, y'all. So let me kind of list them. I've been keeping up. But therapy also made me realize that there are things from your childhood that are so ingrained in your subconscious that you don't even know about until you find yourself in a familiar particular situation. So almost like deja vu. So like, for example, easiest example I could think of, when you were that child and you were maybe getting yelled at or disciplined for doing something, all you could think of in your head at that moment was probably, I can't wait to have kids so that I never do that. Right? And then fast forward years later, you become a parent. You're in a situation where you're now the disciplinary of your child. And in like one moment, you snap out of it and think back to the person that you used to be on the other side as a kid. Like, I said I would never do that, and I didn't even realize I'm doing this until I'm in the middle of doing it. And you don't realize how ingrained certain things and events in your life, how they will affect you years later. You may think something that happened back then wasn't a big deal, that turned out has had a pretty significant impact on the way that your life has turned out thus far, even though in your eyes it wasn't that deep, it wasn't that serious, but it was serious enough where now you always seem to react or feel this type of way whenever you're in this type of situation because of something else that happened to you. So realizing that in order for you to heal, you literally got to start back as far as you can. You got to take it all the way back to your childhood and start dissecting it and understanding that you are the person that you are right now because of the things that that child endured or went through or heard or witnessed. Like everything, every part of your life as a child is why you're the adult that you are right now.
That's a fact.
So it makes me conscious of the fact that an environment that a child grows up in is so important because everything about that environment is going to dictate how that child grows up. It's going to be the mold. It's the beginning. And it's so much harder as the kid gets older to change that. So having good, positive energy surrounding a child at all times, I've realized through therapy, is extremely important because especially now as a parent, I never want to be the reason that Xavier is sitting on a couch 10, 15 years from now talking to a therapist because of situations or environments that I created around him. I never want him to have to heal from his relationship with me. So it just makes me very cognitive of the environment and the situations in which I put him in so that that's not a thing. Granted, I'm not going to be the perfect parent. There's always going to be stuff to complain about your parents. But just trying to be intentional and aware of things that I otherwise would not have been had I not went back and dissect. Like, okay, if I say I never want to be this type of parent, I have to make sure that anytime I'm in that type of situation, I am conscious to make sure that I react opposite of how I feel like I want to automatically react. I got to kind of go against nature a little bit and actively do my part in restructuring what we have going on so that I'm not repeating the cycle, so that I can actually break the cycle. If that makes sense. Like, that was a lot, but it made sense to me.
It makes sense.
Another thing that therapy's also kind of shed the light on is that therapy made my spiritual journey even more lonely than it already was.
More lonely?
Yeah. Because therapy allows me now, it's like it gave me a new pair of glasses. And it's like being on a spiritual journey, like I was already being an empath, I was already able to like feel other people's energy and emotions. But like now when you pile therapy onto that and like actively healing and being intentional about the things that you say and the things that you do, it makes you realize those around you that aren't.
That's a fact.
But I'm finding I'm finding it hard to find that balance and to not judging people because everybody is on their own journeys and on their own paces and paths. But just being in this era of my life as a healing Black woman, almost in her 30s, it makes me look at people around me and new people that come around me completely different because I don't resonate with certain parts of what maybe unhealed version of me did. So now I was already conscious of people's energy, but now like, okay, if you're not in a good situation, what are you doing to get yourself out of it, or are you just wallowing in that? You get what I'm saying? I want to be around people that are doing the best they can to be the best version of themselves. So I want people around me that are trying to heal, that are maybe looking for the tools versus people that are just not happy with where they are but not doing anything to change that either. So I think therapy really opened my eyes to see what everybody else has going on and kind of see without being like a therapist, and I'm not diagnosing anybody, but just you can see
I
when
think it
someone,
just it helps you read people better.
yeah, because you can see the people that are you just complaining about your situation?
Or is it something deeper?
Right, like, and are you mad at this right now, or are you really mad about something you told me a month ago that I feel like you never got over, like, and is you just been piling stuff on? Because therapy allows you to put the ugly mirror to yourself, so it kind of throws a red flag up now that you have those tools and resources from your therapist to notice when other people are doing the same. That's why I asked you talk with your boys about your sessions, because I find myself anytime me and my friends are talking about anything, like it'll anytime something remotely feels similar to like a situation I had that I may have brought up with my therapist, I'll just share what she told me with them. And like for example, I shared something with one of my friends, and like that really stuck out to her. And when I told my therapist that, she was like, "That's so good." Like, like, because if you're not gonna go, like, let me just do what I'm doing now, and let me just drop the gem. And the fact that she mentions that has stuck with her since I told her, I'm glad that I could be that resource and that bridge for her. So like, okay, as you go through what you have to go through, remember that you have this tool in your back pocket, because I realized in that moment she may have needed it, because I instantly got a snap back. So when I was on the couch talking about a similar situation, and hey, here's what she told me, and I've been trying to implement this, maybe this could work for you too. So that's what I mean by it just allows me to see what people got going on, and it just makes it real lonely, because now it's even like, I always talk about wanting to expand the physical tribe, but now it's like, are you healing? Or what's going on? Because we in our almost 30 somethings, like, we need to be doing better. If you knew better, you do better. We know better. We trying to do better. Like, I need people around me that's in that type of mindset. I think I kind of do want to share something that my therapist brought up in therapy with me, and she kind of talked about how pretty much from like her what she can gather so far, I haven't been like officially diagnosed with anything, was that she was saying that I have a mild, or it seems like I have a mild case of anxiety, and that could stem from being a fixer or feeling the need to fix everyone's problems around me, and how much stress that could add, and depression that may kind of incite when I can't fix certain things or problems, and I just feel the need that everything needs to be fixed, things can't be broken, kind of like what you were saying, you learned how imperfection is perfect. So that's kind of what I'm working on, because she realizes that I feel the need to, if someone around me has a problem, I want to help them solve it, even if they didn't ask. And that's a problem for me, because as someone who's an empath, and as someone who is also a very
You're burdening yourself with someone else's emotions.
exactly, especially as someone that can feel those other people. So when my friends call me stressed out, now I'm stressed out. And now I'm stressed because I need to help you not be stressed. But then there are times where like they get off the phone not stressed, and that's great for you, but now I'm stressed, and now my brain's going a mile a minute while I try to help you figure out your problems. And then when people don't use my suggestions, I get upset, because I have now exuberated so much energy into trying to solve this problem. And what the hell do you mean that you're not? I gave you at least 3 solutions and you did none of them. So what? But she had to make me realize, did they ask for solutions, or did you just go out your way to offer them? And I had to realize I do that a lot. I offer solutions to people's problems. And when they don't take it, I get mad. So I had to I think I spoke about that on episode 8, Soul Sisters, when I had my best friends on here.
Especially if they're really close to you, or if you
These heifers be stressing me out, and I be trying not to. I just if I call you my friend and something you're going through something that's really stressful, and like y'all, we in our almost 30s, me and our friends, like we don't be having little girl problems, we having grown woman problems, like just damn, for real. Like I wish if there was something, if I can't do anything to help, I at least want to help you come up with the solution. But I have stopped doing that. And I've even taken it a step further, and it's gonna sound bad, but like now you just casually ask people like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like I stopped doing it because I don't got it for you to say. What if you say, "Hey, I ain't doing so well," and now you trauma dumping on me, and now boom, I have to take that energy on and walk around with it.
right, and then she had me in the crib. I'm like, well, what the fuck did I do?
And I'm learning not to do that. I just unfortunately stress him out too by telling him what's going on and being stressed that I can't help and that I can't come up with a solution.
And she be so passionate too, and I'm just like, okay.
That don't got shit to do with us. That's what it be given. And
I understand you're passionate about this, yes, and I understand the situation, and you know that's crazy. That's crazy, but you know, we here and we're good, so let's stay good.
I'm working on it. Like it just honestly, therapy taught me that I'm not a damn therapist because I don't know half the shit she know, and she helped me learn shit. So I am not. I can't be the therapist to my friends. Somebody gets paid and is highly qualified to help people solve their problems, and it's not me. So now I just respectively, I'm that friend now that I talk about my sessions because I want them heifers to go see therapists. I want all of us to go see therapists. So that takes a stressor off of relationships when you don't have to be the person constantly helping someone deal with their trauma. And to a certain extent, if that's your friend, if that's your spouse, that's your job to kind of help them feel their feels, but it's not your job. And I had to realize it's not my job to heal anybody's traumas. I'm not qualified for that. I got my own damn traumas that she got me not even knowing I had, that I'm trying to solve. So I can't help nobody. What I can do though is tell you to go on therapyforblackgirls.com like I did and find a therapist for free. That's what I can do. Cause I feel you, sis, but I'm not qualified to help you with this situation. And there are people. I was about to say, let me help you find them, but that's me doing it again. But you know, here's the website, do with it what you will, type of thing. And I'm learning that. And just like that, we are at our last word of the week. We made it after a lot of rambling. And who knows? But we only got 20, camera's 22%. So we've been up here for a minute. This week's word of the week, if you have one, I'll let you give one too. But I picked self-awareness because if you truly want to heal yourself, the first step is to understanding the role that you play in your own suffering. And that's kind of what we talked about earlier. Because sometimes it's you. Just like sometimes it's me. And just like sometimes it's him. Like we all have to acknowledge.
Sometimes.
Sometimes what?
Sometimes it's me.
Sometimes. What do you mean? Like I said, sometimes it's him too. And either way, regardless of who's responsible, accountability is a requirement for true healing. You cannot heal yourself if you're not taking accountability for the role you play in your own suffering. Because at some point, even if you didn't do it, you allowed it to continue. You didn't put those boundaries in place, and that's not no one else's fault but yours. That's not me throwing hella blame. That's me encouraging you to take accountability. There's no way you can navigate this human experience without some level of honesty. And you can't be honest with others if you're not honest with yourself first. And
That's a fact.
once you get to that place, that real self-aware and intentionally conscious place, just remember that those who are awake do not judge those who are asleep. I have to literally remind myself of that all the time, and finding that balance and not judging people for where they are, but just kind of understanding where they are and understanding that they just may not be able to come with me to the next stage in my life. And once you notice the patterns in the people around you that no longer resonate with you, you kind of set your boundaries and you move accordingly. And while finding peace in knowing that they just aren't there yet, and that's okay, because we're all not going to be in this race going the same pace. But understanding where you are and what pace you're running at, so you know who you need to your left and to your right.
Knocked it out the park.
I tried. And with that being said, I literally cannot end season 4 without thanking you guys for watching and you guys for listening. And just thank you for such a transformative season. Season 4, like I said, is really personal to me because y'all got to hear real life healing and growth in real time. And like this season, I put my heart into this season and hopefully it shows. But I feel so much goddamn better knowing that I really gave season 4 my all. And thank you guys for accepting me, my thoughts, and my opinions wholeheartedly. And as much love and light that y'all pour into me, I plan to give it all right back to y'all in season 5 and every season thereafter. And if episode 9 of this season did not make it clear, we are literally just getting started. I am coming back bigger and better the next time y'all see me. We coming in with a bang. If everything goes accordingly, we coming in with a bang next season, just like we did this season. But we taking it up even more. I might even taking it up 2 notches if I could pull off what I'm trying to pull off. But until then, we will see y'all in season 5. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Cue outro one more time. And on that note, if you made it this far, thank you for kicking it with me and chopping it up with me. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. The love and the support, it never goes unnoticed or unappreciated. And if you want to join the conversation in real time, make sure that you're following me across all social media platforms at Tyanne Watson. But more specifically, make sure you're following me on Instagram at Tyanne.Watson, because that's where I'll post all of the polls, all of the questions, and conversation starters. That's also where you guys can expect to see sneak peeks and previews into the episodes to come. We on a new season and we on a new level. This gonna be one hell of a ride. I hope y'all are ready. Until then, I'll see you, same time, same place next week for another Melanated Monday. And remember, the goal is to be good and do good. Until next time, peace, y'all.